In this video, we're ranking every type of new construction home that you could buy or build in Kansas City. 2 stories, reverse 1.5s, ranches, and of course, 1.5 stories. We're gonna be breaking down everything that you need to know from price, livability, some of the main features, and also some of the lots you might want to build them on. If you stick around to the end, we've got a bonus and we'll also give you both my and Jordan's favorite type of floor plan if we were to build one today.
If we haven't met yet, my name is Jordan.
My name's Nick.
We help people buy and build homes all across Kansas City. If you have any interest in buying or building a home in Kansas City, please feel free to reach out, give us a call, text, or email.
Now, the first type of home we're going to show you in this video is a classic. This is the 2-story Magnolia by Chris George Homes. Features 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 2716 square feet. And for the location and the level of finishes, an incredible price for the value, $750,000. And Jordan, look at that elevation. Standing seam metal roof, very kind of modern farmhouse style. What about that front porch there?
Yeah, front porch, very good size. You got a little seating area out there. I love the trim on the garage doors. And
my favorite is the circle window up top, and we'll show you that a little bit later on in this tour.
All right, Nick, come on in here.
All right. So first up for the day, the Magnolia. We will put the floor plan on the screen. And as we go throughout the house, Jordan, we're going to break down the 3 things everyone needs to know before they buy or build a 2-story in Kansas City.
Yep. 2 stories are very different from these other plans we're going to show you today. So starting with the entry, I love the 8-foot tall door. And I don't know how wide this door is, but it's definitely over 36 inches. It's a wider door than normal.
Let me ask you this. I know you're a big fan of the French doors. A big door like this, does it check that box?
Oh yeah, this checks the box. I love the grids and the glass. You have that farmhouse look, and you get that line of sight all the way through. Yeah, that's right. So you also have coat closet right here at the front of the home. Now, one of the big differences, or traditionally with 2-story homes, is that normally they have a formal dining room. Now, however, since COVID, a lot of people working from home, what we're seeing now is a dedicated office / flex room on the main floor. And this one here in this particular home, this is a dedicated office. You've got the wall of windows here in the front. They have the grids. I absolutely love that look.
And I like that you overlook the front porch. But the reason we call this a dedicated office is because you don't have a closet, and there's also not a full bath. However, in some 2 stories where the dining room would have been, you can find those. And sometimes we see them behind the garage?
Yep, what we're starting to see is they're adding secondary bedrooms on the back side of the kitchen, on the garage side of the home, and there will be a full bath included in that.
Now, I thought this was pretty neat. You'll see the pocket doors throughout the plan, but you've got the French pocket doors right here.
Yeah, very neat.
And then the last thing I want to point out in here, Jordan, is watch out there. So this builder included the upgraded floor grates. So they match the hardwood flooring. They're not sticking out like a sore thumb. Just a nice feature to have.
It's a nice feature compared to the metal floor grates that are colored. They don't match completely. So coming into the living room, very good size. I like the width here. You've got the stone and the mortar fireplace. And Nick, look at all these floating shelves. That's just a neat design.
Now, I'm a big fan of stone. I think it makes everything look good. I'm especially a fan of this one where they got the thicker mortar in between. But this leads us to the second major difference with 2 stories, right? So we discussed the dining room that's now kind of an office or a full guest suite. Second major difference is you don't have a master suite on the main floor. So Jordan, it can feel like you've got a little bit more space here.
Yeah, it makes the space feel a little bit bigger, your living area and dining and kitchen, because you don't have that master. It's on the 2nd floor. Stick around to the end because that's where we're going to show you the 3rd piece that makes 2 stories difference when we go downstairs.
That's right. There's always a little bit of push and pull, so it's coming up.
Yeah,
There'll be a big contrast.
We'll just give you a quick rundown on this kitchen. You've got a huge island. Absolutely love this thing. I think this is wider than what we normally see. You could easily fit 4 chairs there.
And then, yep, they've got storage on both sides of the island here. And it looks like they upgraded the slab as well. So you got a little a couple touches of gold, which is nice. It matches some of the gold in the light fixtures. But really, the show-stopping feature of this kitchen is the alcove.
Yep, the alcove, all the trim around. You've got spice racks on the side. This is a beautiful gas built-in oven.
Now, this house comes in at $750, but I know this builder does some infill and teardowns in Fairway, Prairie Village. I've seen the same plan clock over $1 million, sometimes 1.1, sometimes higher than that. The nice thing about that slide-in range, Jordan, is it looks like it's 6-burner, but you also have a second oven over to the right.
Yep, so you do have your wall oven and your microwave oven over here. On the back side of the kitchen, you have the pantry. I love the built-in here. So you can have your little coffee bar, keep things off the countertop in the main working area. And these built-ins here, absolutely beautiful.
Tons of extra cabinets. Will you open one of those up for us? I mean, I love the stain, nice accent in the kitchen, but because you don't have the master on the main floor, sometimes we will see more perimeter around the kitchen, which means more cabinets, more storage. And of course, the last little piece of this is the pantry. So looks like they put a nice window in here for some natural light. And then you've got quite a bit of storage even around the corner as well. Now, last thing, Jordan, before we go to the mudroom, why don't we take a look at the patio, kind of the dining area here too.
Yep. So this dining area is extra wide. This is a 6-seater table. You maybe could get a bigger table in there as well. And then step out here. So 2 steps down, this is a level lot. So all we have is a covered patio out here. Good sized patio. Would you do an extension, Nick?
You know, we've had quite a few clients that like to see the extension, and I get it. If you're pouring concrete, you might as well pour some extra if you plan to do it down the road. The nice thing is, it looks like the builder has upgraded some of the landscaping in the back, so you will sometimes see some dead trees. Those get replaced before closing, but it's nice that you'll eventually have this tree line. Once the spring comes, those are nice and healthy again. But coming back into the house, last major part here is the mudroom. And Jordan, this is where we mentioned sometimes we might even see a full guest suite back there, but in this one, we've got some extra storage, a half bath, and the bench.
Yep. So here's the mudroom. It comes right off the garage. I love how they did the stain here. I like that a lot better than paint. Just the look and
the durability, right?
The durability of it, yeah. You've got all your coat hooks and your cubbies. Very cool. And I thought this was really neat. They did this little drop station built in, you know, throw your mail here, car keys, whatever you got.
Yeah, most of the time we don't see built-ins like this. And then I thought this vanity in the bathroom was really cool. I love the legs on the sides.
It's very classic looking.
And they even did the upgraded countertop in there, slim profile built-in mirror. You even got a window as well. Now, as we head upstairs so far, just to recap, major differences with the 2-story compared to most other plans. Dining room that's now usually the office or a guest suite, and you don't have that master suite on the main floor, so some parts of it can tend to feel a little bit bigger. But we're going to show you exactly what we mean by that. And Jordan, heading upstairs, I like the high tread carpet.
High tread carpet.
You got the paneled accent wall up the stairs, and you'll see that in the master suite here in a second. But hallmark feature of a 2-story is that most of the bedrooms are going to be on that second level. That makes these types of homes some of the most efficient price-wise that you could build. And you'll see that come into play here with the house at the end of this tour, which has super tall ceilings. But coming in here, we've got the modern kind of crown molding, the cove lighting, and then that same paneling you saw up the stairs.
Yeah, I like the shiplap vertical. I think that looks really cool.
Really classy, and it fits the floor plan since these are usually very traditional. And then we mentioned quite a few pocket doors. This would be your first in here. And then what I love about this one, you get the tower in the middle. Sometimes not everybody likes that, and I get that. So if you build it, that's up to you. If you want this extra countertop space, you could certainly have it. But you get the dual vanities, and then they mounted the fixtures onto the mirrors. And then look at this, Jordan. It's pretty different.
So we have the water closet here with a built-in linen shelves, which is very nice, and another pocket door as well, Nick.
That's right. And at this price point, $750. I mean, there's already a ton of value in here. They took it one step further. You got a 0 entry shower. I'm a sucker for it. If you're going to build, I'd highly consider that because it just beats a threshold any day of the week. Now, the tub, it is angled, and that's because of how this bathroom is laid out. But you do have the paneling that you saw. And let us know in the comments down below, if you were to build this, Jordan, what do you think about a wet room situation? That way you don't have this angle to the tub.
I love the idea of a wet room. We've seen it several times now. It's a very cool look, and you could turn that tub straight and just have the wall of glass.
Yep. Yeah, really cool look. You got 2 niches in there. I like the tall ceilings. And then finally, we've got the master closet to your right.
Master closet, lots of hanging space here. Turns, you do have shelves for your shoes. And it comes in here to the laundry. And this has another door to the hallway to get you to the rest of the bedrooms up here.
I like that you got the countertop in here, built-ins. Most of the time with new floor plans in like 2025 and beyond, the laundry room is almost always going to be connected to the master, or you'll have like a stackable in the master closet. So coming this way, we've got 3 other secondary bedrooms up here. We're gonna go a little bit quicker through this because I know you've probably seen a lot of these before. I love that you got the casement windows in the front, makes the elevation look really good. But my favorite part about this house is the circle window.
Yeah, very cool.
That's all I have on this one. So Hollywood bathroom, we've got the separate vanity, closet is to your right. And then we've got shower, toilet, the other part of the Hollywood bath. So the vanity is right there. And then right here, we've got the closet. And of course, this is bedroom number 2, secondary bedroom 2. And then finally, this is our 4th bedroom in the house, our 3rd secondary. Love the height of the ceilings for a 2-story. This is pretty impressive.
Tall. And ensuite bathroom.
Private bath.
Which is very nice. And that's pretty typical what we've seen in a lot of plans these days, is that on the 2nd floor, you're gonna have 3 secondary bedrooms. 2 of them, normally, depending on the price point, is gonna have a Jack and Jill Hollywood bath, and then 1 will have their own ensuite.
That's right, which means you do get a formal kind of guest suite on the 2nd floor. Now, the last major thing you should know about 2-stories, and we've had clients reach out who wanted to buy a 2-story in the past, and we showed them this one thing, and it completely changed their minds. And that would be the size of the basement. Now, because the footprint of the house doesn't have to accommodate a master suite on the main floor, the basements tend to be a little bit smaller than you'd see in some of the other floor plans we're going to show you later in the video. So we'll show you how this compares and contrasts to other types of floor plans where that master is in the main, because it can make a huge difference. And we've had clients that purchased other types of homes for this reason exactly. But the way this lays out, this would be the rec room. Think TV up against this wall, or you could even go up against this wall right here. You may even have a closet right here. Because you've got the window well, the egress window, this would be an additional secondary bedroom. You've got the stubs for the full bath right here. And then Jordan, we've even got a wet bar.
Yep, we even have a stub there so that you could do a wet bar on this wall. And then on the other side of the stairwell, that's where you have all your HVAC equipment, your sump pump, and additional storage.
Right. The last thing I want to say, just to put this into context, we said that the foundation's smaller, the basements tend to be smaller. To put that into number terms, if you were to finish this, you might get another 500 to 800 square feet down here. With a reverse 1.5 or 1.5 story where that master is on the main floor, we've seen up to, what, 1,200 additional square feet?
Yeah.
So we're gonna show you exactly what that looks like with house number 4. Now, before we show you that one, of course, we're gonna hop over to house number 2, but we're gonna sum up each of these tours with a typical price range that you could find 2 stories at here in Kansas City. So Jordan, we looked at all the sales data, all the active 2-story homes that are on the market. Our criteria was single family homes, so they can't be villas, although you can certainly find some villas that are ranches, reverses, etc. And they also can't be a slab foundation, because those are outliers. The cost is usually way lower than if you actually have a basement. And one of the benefits of a two-story is that you have room to expand, right? You've got kids, you've got a family, and I'm sure that's important to you too.
Yeah, we're working on finishing that basement at our house. Now, when it comes to two stories in Kansas City, they start in the upper 300s. Now, a lot of this pricing is going to depend on the size of the home, where it's located, and the type of finishes it has. Now, the median price across the metro is about $590,000. They go as high as 1.8 million in that, luxury high-end neighborhoods.
That's right. And really 1.8 million, I think, is crazy for a two-story home. And we'll explain why that matters later in the video. But the 1.8s that you would see for a two-story, those are redevelopment, right? Think Country Club Plaza. They're older homes being torn down, rebuilt, Prairie Village, Fairway, etc. So that's why they come in at the higher price point. The reason this one comes in around $750, the level of finishes, the neighborhood. We're also in Johnson County, which the prices for new homes, really any home here in Kansas City, they're going to be higher in Johnson County. So this all depends on location, price point, but you can find them around the 400s, 500s, 600s, and really all the way up to $2 million plus. So final thing is, how do the two stories rank? We are going to place these in the cost-effective tier, and that's because the footprint of the house is a little bit smaller. All the secondary bedrooms are upstairs. They're very efficient in terms of square footage. And on top of this, they're also the only home that doesn't have the master on the main that we're going to show you in this video.
The second type of new construction home we have for you today is the Timberland Reverse by Newmark Homes. It's a reverse 1.5 story that features 4 beds, 3 baths, 3,024 square feet, priced at $749,000.
All right, Jordan, come on in.
All right. Oh man, look at that beautiful wall of windows, Nick.
We will put the floor plan on the screen right here. One important note about reverse 1.5s is that a lot of builders will build them as 1.5 stories up as well. Now that's the 4 type of home we'll show you, but I can tell you Newmark, they definitely have a Timberland 1.5 story. This just happens to be the reverse 1.5 story. Couple major benefits of the reverse, but starting with the entry, Jordan, the glass here, I've never seen anything like it before.
Yep. I love the design, the texture in the glass. You get the privacy, but you also get the light.
Now that blue color, you're going to see a couple places throughout the house. You do have a coat closet right off the entry. But the major difference between this plan and a 2-story is that you have the master suite on the main floor. And we're going to get to that here in just a second. But you got the stairwell downstairs. A lot of the time builders will do a mirror like this, and you'll see why they did the navy blue in a second. But it just bounces all that light off from all these windows, makes it a little bit more bright in here. And Jordan, I want to talk about this kitchen for a second, but before we get to that, this is like the hallmark feature of this plan, is all the beams.
I love the vault. The beams are absolutely beautiful. And look how wide the beam is in the middle. It's 2 beams wide.
Really, really impressive. We'll go a little bit quicker through this. I thought this was really interesting. We just don't see hoods that are like this. You've got like the exhaust in the middle, the glass panel cabinet doors on the sides, and then this herringbone blue, like ceramic tile backsplash. I think this is the inspiration for the blue everywhere else you saw with the paint. Reverse 1.5. We mentioned the 2-story. A lot of the time you would see, like several years ago, a dining room. And a 1.5 story, because you have the master on the main floor, you're usually not going to find a dining room, which means you get this dining nook off of the kitchen. So there's a big difference between those two. And Jordan, we've got a pretty good amount of space here.
Yep, good amount of space. You couldn't fit a huge table there, but you can fit a decent sized table. Plus you have all the seating at the island, and just makes for a nice area.
That's right. So last part of the kitchen, and then we'll get to the family room here. You do have a really big pantry. Flip the light on for you.
Oh, very nice.
Now, turning around to the great room, Jordan, floor to ceiling, dry stack stone.
Yeah, I love the look. On each side, you've got floating shelves that are recessed into the wall, and you've got the built-ins on each side, and they went with that accent blue like we saw in the backsplash in the kitchen and the entry.
We've already kind of discussed the main thing about a reverse 1.5, the master's on the main. The second big thing is you'll usually have a guest suite or dedicated office ideally on the other side of the house. And that's exactly what we've got here. So swinging around the corner behind the kitchen, nice and private. Beautiful windows. I like the landscaping in the back too.
Extra wide single hung windows. The good sized room. They have it set up as an office, but it's also a bedroom because you have the closet there. Right, coming around the corner, you do have the full bath that's going to service this guest bedroom and guests that come over to the home here on this main level. And then you also have the garage entry here. And I love this mud bench, how it wraps around and just takes up that whole corner. I think that's very, very cool.
Final part of the main floor here is the master suite. A lot of these plans nowadays, Jordan, you've got the laundry room, which is usually connected to the closet. It's one big loop, and that's what we've got here. So starting with the bedroom, I love the 3 single hung, lots of light coming in. They already did blinds, which is really nice. And then this box vault up top.
Yep, I love the box vault. It adds just more volume to the room and just makes it feel roomier.
That's right. Now, one thing you might see in a reverse 1.5, depending on the lot type, depending on the price point, I'll put a clip on the screen. Sometimes we'll see an exit from the master bedroom onto the covered patio or the covered deck. And one thing you might want to keep in mind is this lot right here is a level lot. So do you have any sort of security concerns? It might be better to do something like that when you have a daylight lot and there's a deck, or a walkout lot and there's a deck without any stairs down, because nobody can get to that. And it just adds a lot of value to the master suite. But Jordan, we've got your double doors
Double
right
fridge
here.
doors. I prefer those over the sliding barn doors.
And then we've got an extra wide vanity, kind of a granite Oreo type top on there.
A very cool looking top.
And then they upgraded to a freestanding tub. I like that you've got the 3 picture windows. They're frosted, so you don't have to worry about privacy. You got the water closet to your left. To your right is the master shower.
And you've got the bench seat in there, tile all the way to the ceiling. Very good look.
And then finally, we've got the master closet. And you'll notice they got a little bench and a few windows in here. This whole outside of the house is all stone. We'll put a drone clip on the screen here. I thought it looked really neat. I love to see stone on houses. And then the final part of the main floor is the laundry room.
Got your laundry room, got your built-in cabinets, got your hanger space.
Now, the second major benefit of the reverse 1.5 is the basement's always going to be finished. So very different from a ranch. And that's because you'll have all the secondary bedrooms down here. And it relies on having the basement finished to get those additional 2 bedrooms. But what that also means, Jordan, one of our favorite things I know about the reverse.
Yeah, a giant rec room and second living space for you, your family, your guests.
Now, there's one thing that in an ideal world, if I was buying or building a reverse that I'd want to see, this is built on a flat lot. So this kind of feels like a basement. You don't have an exit from the basement to the backyard. You don't have windows above ground. I would want to see either a daylight or a walkout lot because it adds so much more functionality. Makes this feel like a true living space because it brings in that natural light. But the price point of this home, it is more expensive to build something like this on one of those lots. So I completely understand that. But the other nice thing is you get the wet bar. They've done the walk-up bar against the wall, floating shelves. You got the backsplash. And then they even included the wine cooler or mini fridge.
Yep, very nice. And we see wet bars, in these reverses, depending on the price point. I mean, they can have their own island, extra seating, just very, very neat.
There are some really incredible ones out there. But coming into this part of the home, we've got a shared bathroom in the middle, bedroom 1 down here to your right. So this is the 3rd bedroom in the house.
We've got a huge walk-in closet, egress window.
I like that they did the concrete egress window there. And then really quick shot of the full bath right here. Some of these reverse plans will have a separate half bath. We've seen a lot of different combinations. And then this is the final bedroom in the plan. Now, before we head over to the 3rd type of new home you could buy or build in Kansas City, the prices and how we would rank this one. So we looked at all of the reverses that are for sale actively all around Kansas City and in town, not like 50 miles outside of Kansas City. And the lowest prices we found are around the 400,000s.
Yeah, that's right. And that's totally going to be dependent upon where these homes are at, how large are these homes, how much square footage they have, and then who the builder is and what quality finishes they put in the home. The median price is going to be somewhere around that 700,000 mark, and they can go quite a bit higher.
That's right, and that's about where we're at right now. A big difference in the price is going to be the lot type. There are a lot of builders that prefer to build reverse 1.5s on either a walkout lot or a daylight lot. And you'll see examples on the screen. It just gives you more natural light in the basement, but a flat lot is going to be the most cost-effective way you could build this. And then finally, these types of homes, they're so popular, they could be built anywhere. Like right now, there are a couple on the market in Lake Winnebago, Tier 1, lakefront at like $3.7 million. So very versatile, but if you look online for new homes for sale around Kansas City, you'll notice these types of homes are built more than any 2-story, 1.5-story ranch. And for that reason, because they're so versatile, we're going to put them in the most popular category. However, believe it or not, there is a difference between a reverse 1.5 and a true ranch.
That's right, Nick. And we're going to go show you that right now. Now moving on to the third type of new home we're going to show you today. This is the Ashwood by Chris George Homes. It's a true ranch plan that features 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,663 square feet, priced at $740,000.
Now, Jordan, I love this elevation. It might be one of my favorites today.
Yep.
Stone in the front, black windows, the shutters, the board and batten.
Board and batten. You've got the mutton bars in the windows as well. And I love that dormer above the porch, and it's got the standing seam metal roof on it. It's a very good look. All right, come on in here, Nick.
All right. Now, I know we just did the reverse 1.5, and you might be wondering, isn't a ranch like the same exact thing? And they're similar, a lot of similarities, but Jordan, we're going to point out one of the biggest differences.
Yeah, very, very similar. So a ranch can be, I mean, technically a 1-bedroom on the main, but what we're normally seeing are 3 bedrooms on the main. That's a ranch, with the option to finish that lower level, which you pretty much have to do in a reverse.
And we'll explain, there are a couple reasons why that matters, but that's the main distinction. Usually 3 bedrooms versus just 2 bedrooms on the main floor. But Jordan, look at the ceiling heights here.
Super tall ceiling. I mean, this is almost 2 stories here. You've got the tall 8-foot door. I love how they put the paneling here on each side of the foyer, chair rail height. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, this is a true ranch, right? We showed you the Magnolia, that 2-story home at the beginning by Chris George. This is just a classic tried and true style of ranch. And Jordan, to your left, so on camera, the right side, this is actually the garage entry, but we're going to come back to that. And we're going to start with the main thing that makes this a ranch.
Yeah, so these are going to be the secondary bedrooms on this side of the house, and we have the master on the other. So you do have a little bit of a hallway here. The full bathroom, the hallway is nice because it creates a little bit of separation, a little more privacy. So good sized bedroom. You've got the casement windows, which is what we like to see. They've got that seal all the way around, just higher quality than the single hungs. Good sized closet. And Nick, did you see the vault in here too?
I did. You've got a barn style vault, and very similar to what we discussed in the reverse 1.5 before this, you don't have that second story, which means you tend to see these just super tall ceilings.
So
now, one thing I want to point out, Jordan, I know you're excited for the bathroom, but you do have 2 coat closets right here, which is really nice.
Linen closet on one side, coat on the other. And then the full bath that's going to service the main floor, your guests, and these 2 bedrooms here.
I like this stain color. We're going to see this throughout the house. It's just got a little bit more red in it than we typically see, and it stands out for that reason. But here's our second bedroom on the main floor.
Bedroom number 2. It's got tall ceilings. They did a box vault up there, which is really nice. And good size closet as well, Nick.
This is a good sized closet. So the nice thing about this versus like a reverse 1.5 is if you wanted to use one of these bedrooms as an office, you could do it. and you still have a guest suite on the main floor. So if you have family coming over and you don't want them to have to go down the stairs, this is like the perfect solution. But it also means the footprint of the house is bigger, and that'll come into play later on.
That's right, Nick. And as you can see, the volume in this room, it just feels much bigger. You've got the kitchen and the dining room and the great room all in one nice open space.
That's right. I think, Jordan, the only thing we're missing, we got to call the elephant in the room out.
Yeah.
The only thing we're missing is the dining room table.
I know, but I promise one will fit here. This is a very good size space.
So other thing is you've got these extra wide, there's one slider in the middle, but I like that you get the full glass pane, almost floor to ceiling. Of course, the nice part about this property, Jordan, is you've got the tree line in the back.
Yep.
But I want to turn our attention to this fireplace in that first home, built by the same builder, Chris George Custom Homes. They had a lighter version of this. I like the dark. I think it pops right off the wall.
I do like the dark. I think it's a really good look, creates a lot of contrast. This is a very good sized great room. You've got tall ceilings, a little bit of vault here on the back side. You've got the wall of windows, which we like to see. Transom windows on each side of the fireplace offers a lot of extra light. And then you have the stairwell on the back side here. And what that does is two things. So it's straight down. You do have a little turn on the in at the bottom, but it also creates a lot more volume in this room and just makes it feel that much bigger.
Now we're gonna trade spots real quick. This kitchen, a lot of things they did really, really well. Jordan, the first one, I think that hood fits perfectly with everything. I like the little stain accent, kind of the apron around the bottom. But we noticed a couple things. One, we can't tell if this is quartz or granite. The line is blurring with some of these slabs, but I like that nonetheless. And then we walked through before and you pointed out the herringbone backsplash.
Yep. So you've got the herringbone backsplash. It is more expensive to do that, so that's a very nice touch on this home. The other thing, this kitchen, the working space that you have, I mean, tons of room in between here and tons of counter space.
Now, kitchen cabinets go all the way to the ceiling. Jordan, if you'll step in there real quick, see if that light will just turn on.
You've got the walk-in pantry with the automatic light, and that's very nice to have.
That is.
Full of bags, walk right in there.
All right. Now, we're gonna head into the master suite. This master is huge, and it's got some vertical paneling just like we saw in the entry.
Yep. Very big room here. You do have the box vault with the cove lighting. You've got your ceiling fan, and I like the trim. I like how they took it 3/4, 2/3 of the way up the wall. That's a nice look.
You've also got nightstand outlets, which is always nice to see. Now, in some of these ranches and some of these reverses, Jordan, I like that you've got this kind of bump out here, but sometimes you'll get an exit, a door from the master suite onto the deck, which is also really nice to see. But I love the space in here.
Yeah, you can make that into a sitting area, or maybe you put an extra dresser or table there. All right, heading into the master bath, you've got the double doors, French doors. I love the look. Freestanding tub over here in the corner, wrapped around with the trim on the wall. That's a large, I mean, wide dual vanity setup. Very nice. You've got all the drawers. And Nick, you've got the window. It's got the texture in it, so you get the light.
Right. And the other thing, Jordan, you've got this huge shower here. I love that they did the Euro door. It doesn't have a frame on it, just full glass panels. And then, of course, just to the left, we've got the water closet. And then the final kind of part of this main level, master closet. And I think if you were to build this, if I was to build this, I'd definitely take those shelves all the way up. Got to add some valet rods in there. The nice thing about this, Jordan, is it feeds right into the laundry room.
Yep.
Which then feeds into the mud hall and both the front entry and the garage entry. So let's take a look.
Yep. And just pocket doors everywhere.
So we've got the garage entry to your right. So we're coming in this way, but we also have the mud hall. You got the boot bench, cubbies down below, up top. And Jordan, you're right at the front door here.
Front door here in the foyer.
Now, before we go downstairs, part of the basement is finished, but this main level alone, it could just be built with this main level. You wouldn't have to touch the basement. That would be considered a true ranch. This, because it has a basement finish, I'd consider this, Jordan, a ranch reverse. So what that means is you've got one bedroom down here, but it gives you this extra rec space. And since you have those 3 bedrooms on the main floor, you don't have to stuff all the secondary bedrooms down here. So look at all this space here, the wet bar, we've got the floating shelves in the middle, the towers, glass panel, cabinet doors. And I like, not all builders do it, but I like that they have the mini fridge, wine cooler already included.
And that looks like the same top that was in the kitchen.
That's a good eye. So because you have one bedroom down here, you've also got a full bath. So you're gonna see tile, almost floor to ceiling. You've got the vanity. It's a nice linen closet down here. And then this is our 4th bedroom, which again, you wouldn't have to have this if you just did the main level. You've got the egress window right here. But something that this plan has that might be a little bit bigger than the reverse 1.5 we just showed you is the size of the basement. And this is just half of it. Jordan, let's show the unfinished storage.
Yeah, storage area in these ranches is just absolutely huge. If you were gonna build this home, you could add another egress window here and a bedroom.
That's right, I've seen them. They did a model in Stonebridge Point, where they finished this and it was like a non-conforming kind of flex room, but that's good. That's good foresight right there. But really what we want to show is the size of this. Again, because you have those 3 bedrooms and not just 2 on the main level. I mean, look at this. There's a ton of stuff you could do in this basement. So really the point is the footprint of the home is just a little bit bigger than what you might see with a reverse, where there are typically just 2 bedrooms on the main level. Now, before we jump across the street and show you the 4th type of new home in Kansas City, which also happens to be one of the biggest that you could build, a little bit about the prices. Jordan, some of the least expensive ranches we saw that have a full basement, so they couldn't be built on slab, they came in around the upper 300s.
Yep, upper 300s, about 375. Now, the median price for ranch homes around the Kansas City areas comes in about 425, and that's a good price there for new construction. And then on the high end, you're looking at about 700,000.
Now, the reason for that is because when we searched for true ranches, and honestly, this would be a true ranch if the basement wasn't finished, but when we searched, really 700 is about as high as the price gets until you start to see the basement finish. So that's why the prices for this seem a little bit lower. But the benefit of that is if you don't need a bunch of space, if you don't want to finish the basement, you can get in at a much lower price than a reverse 1.5. Now, because of all of that, Jordan, how are we going to rank the ranch here?
So Nick and I, we like to rank the ranches as tried and true. You can age in place. You don't need the finished lower level. So everything on the main floor, and just a really nice plan.
Yeah, having those 3 bedrooms on the main is perfect. The nice thing is, even if you don't need the basement finish, you always have the option to do it later on, and then it becomes the ranch reverse. So just super versatile. They come in at a lower price point typically than a reverse 1.5 that would have that basement finish. But if you're looking for a bigger home, that's exactly what you might get in a 1.5 story. And here it is. This is the Regency 2 by J.S. Robinson Fine Homes. It's our 1.5 story floor plan for the video. It comes in at 4 beds, 4.5 baths, 4,829 square feet. And that's because it's finished in the basement as well. And this is a model home, so it comes at a completely different price bracket. The price is on the screen. It's just over $1.2 million. All right, Jordan, come on in.
All right, get a little sneak peek at this main floor.
Now this one is huge, and the reason we're showing it to you is because it has all 3 levels finished, and that's one of the biggest strong suits of a 1.5 story. We'll put the floor plan on the screen right here, but essentially, as opposed to like a reverse where the basement's already finished, since you have secondary bedrooms, and in this case, a loft upstairs, that basement can add quite a bit of square footage, and we'll get to that here at the end. But Jordan, look at the entry, all these windows. You got a box vault all the way up at the top.
2-story ceilings in the foyer, transom windows.
And then I love these doors. The glass panel, they're frosted, they're matte, so it's nice and private, but you still get light. Now, we've got quite a bit to unpack here, so Joe, I'm gonna have you keep backing up. We're gonna start with the family room first. One thing that a lot of people like to see in 1.5 stories is those soaring ceilings. And we'll put a clip on the screen of what that looks like. The reason you're not seeing them in this 1.5 story is because there's not just one, but there are 2 lofts upstairs. So we're gonna hold that for just a little bit, but it can be either soaring ceilings or a loft. There are some plans like the one we did at Century Farms, the JFE construction. It had the tall ceilings and then the loft was tucked behind the great room. But I love this one. You got a ton of windows. You got the deck outside because this is a true walkout lot, and that's part of why the price is a little bit higher. But Jordan, look at that tile on the fireplace.
Yep, very cool looking fireplace. I like the dark tile, and then you have the dark mantle as well. And then off to the side, they do have a little buffet type table here, and you could do built-ins if you decided to build a plan like this.
Now, there's a lot of boxes that this one checks because it's a model, because it's at this price point. So we'll make our way through that. But you've got this separation from the great room in the kitchen. You've got this huge island with a slab that I've never seen before. Look at that.
Yep, that is very, very pretty slab. I like all the veining and what's going on in there.
The best part of this plan, in my opinion, I think is right behind Jordan. We'll get to it in a second. But you've got all of this space for the dining area. And I think this is a lot more space than you'd typically find in a 1.5 story for that matter. But the other nice thing, since this is a walkout, you get a deck. And this deck happens to be very big.
Yep, very good size. I mean, you've got enough space here. Well, they actually kind of do it here on the end. They put a spot where you could put your grill, keep it out of the way of the dining area. And like Nick said, this is a huge deck.
Composite decking, fortress rails. They did the stairs down, which not all builders will do. Now, coming back inside, couple things in the kitchen before we get to the pantry, which I know a lot of you are interested in. The hood is actually functional, so you have this cabinet up here. It's just cool, you don't see it often.
It's a very nice touch. I mean, you can never have too much storage in the kitchen.
You've got this textured backsplash, which we also don't see very often.
The 5-burner gas stovetop.
And then stacked microwave oven, kind of buffet area, extra perimeter space. I like that they did the separation here with the glass panel cabinet doors. But here's the showstopper, Jordan. We got this moody paint color and the pantry and the prep area, just almost like a full second kind of prep kitchen here.
Yep, beautiful butler's pantry. I like this tile. You know, it's like brick laid tile, but it has a herringbone pattern in the tile. Very nice look. And then like Nick said, just an additional pantry here with all the storage.
Now, most 1.5 story plans these days, you're gonna have that master on the main floor. So the footprint of the house is usually pretty big. You're not often gonna see a dining room, but instead, you're gonna see an office. And that's exactly what we've got around the corner right here.
So tucked behind the kitchen, you've got this dedicated office space on the back of the home, so you're not getting bothered in the front by traffic or people knocking on the door. They did the casement windows, which is a nice touch.
I like that we've got the box vault up here. Now I'm sure, and in most 1.5 story plans, it's either gonna be a formal office, which means you don't have a closet, you don't have a full bath around the corner, but there are also quite a few plans where that will be the case, where this will be a bedroom, you'll have a full bathroom around the corner. But because they finished all 3 levels, I'm sure that's why it's only an office. This is the half bath.
Half bath for the main floor. It's a very, very unique top here, this gray color. Very nice.
That's right. And then final part of this before the master suite garage entry, we've got the boot bench. We've also got the coat closet.
And they also have another built-in drop station on this side. Very nice.
Now, moving on to the master suite, it's nice and tucked behind the family room, the great room. Jordan, this one is pretty big.
Yeah, big room here. You've got the wall of windows, picture window, and the casement windows on each side.
Love the box vault. I like that they added the recessed lights. You know, standard for a lot of builders is just one light fixture in the center. And I like the traditional look to that one. If you swing around, we've got French doors coming into the master bath. And look at this, we got the wall mounted faucet for the freestanding tub. They did the window treatments. another box vault, and then this is loaded. There are towers on both sides of the dual vanity, and there's also an outlet.
Yep, outlet
in
built
the middle.
in, so it's not going through the backsplash.
Now, if you get a close-up of this, this is one of the coolest slabs I've seen. It almost feels like concrete, Jordan.
Yeah, it definitely has a unique texture. Like you almost feel bubbles in it.
It's not concrete. It's probably like an owned granite or something like that. But coming this way, to your left, we've got the water closet. And then to your right, we've got a 0 entry shower. We've got shower heads on both sides, a big old bench that goes all the way across. It doesn't get any better than this.
No, very good size shower. I love the 0 entry.
Now, last thing here is you got a huge closet, pull down racks every which corner you look. And then I also like you've got the shoe storage in the middle. And then the last part of this, I know this is kind of a mouthful. The laundry room's tucked in the closet, which is very common in a 1.5 story home. You got the quartz top, the built center in the corner, and we're gonna take a look upstairs.
Nick, we got to get moving. We got 2 more levels to show. We're gonna start with the 2nd floor of this home.
Yeah, we're gonna be out of breath by the end of this, but I promise you, we both go to the gym like every weekday. So
I just don't do enough cardio.
I know, I don't either.
So you do have the high tread carpet in the stairwell. As Nick mentioned earlier, we've got 2 lofts in this home. This is the first one here, and they just have it staged as a little seating area. You could put a desk in there. You could do a little kids play area, a lot of different options. And then loft area number 2, you've got a few steps up to the room, which is nice because it creates a separation from the rest of it.
That's right. And on the plan that we showed in the beginning, this is actually a media room, but really this house, Jordan, this has 3 separate family rooms. Yeah. And look at that closet. I'm pretty sure that closet's huge.
Yeah, this closet is huge. They've got a ton of shelves in here. I mean, it wraps around. I mean, all the games, all the blankets, everything you need to store in there. It's perfect.
I love all the windows. This is a really big room for being, a separate media room in addition to this kind of landing / loft 1 over here. But Jordan, the nice thing about this plan, you got 3 bedrooms up and each of them have a private bathroom. So here's the first one. You got the casement windows. And then the nice thing is in the private bath, you have the entry to the closet. So you basically have more room, more places that you could put the bed inside the room because you don't have another doorway like you would if there was a separate closet. And then let's take a look at bedroom 2 up here.
Bedroom 2, good size room. You've got the casement windows, really good size bathroom in here, Nick. You've got the stand-up shower. Really nice vanity with the...
That is a huge bathroom for a secondary bedroom. All the finishes in the secondaries, they're usually going to be pretty similar. We will mention, if you'll open that up real quick, when you get to this price point, when you get to this size of home, it's really important to have a laundry closet up here so you don't have to bring laundry up and down the stairs. And of course, you can see they've got the floor drain in there. But around the corner, when you get to like 4,000 square feet or more, that's where you start to need 2 units. And we've got our second system right here. Whole home humidifier. And then you'll see the other unit in the basement, which is huge as well.
And then bedroom 3 upstairs. I think this might be the biggest one of the 3. Oh, wow. They have a hallway to the bathroom and the walk-in closet, Nick.
Yeah, there's so much space in this house.
Very cool.
All right, Jordan. We got some more stairs. Let's get
more
this over
stairs.
with.
It is time for that lower level rec room. In the lower level, you have an extra 1,200 plus or minus square feet. You've got the rec room. You have an area where you can play cards, another dining area. You've got the wet bar and another bedroom.
Compare and contrast this versus the 2-story, where you might be able to finish between 500, 800, maybe up to 1,000 square feet if the plan's really big. 1,200 square feet, and you've still got a ton of unfinished storage down here. So these are almost certainly some of the biggest types of homes that you could build. We'll talk about pricing in a second because they're not all at 1.2. You can certainly get it done in the 7s, the 8s, and sometimes less than that. But Jordan, I love the dark stain on the bar here. And then the backsplash is laid vertically. Really cool look to it.
Yep, and I like how it has that glossy look as well. And like you said, you've got the dark stain on the cabinets, but then they have this darker gray, bluish countertop.
So you've got a separate kind of dining area down here. This whole lower level could be an in-law suite. I mean, you've got the exit outside, and if you're going to build one of these on a walkout lot, I think it always makes sense to finish the basement at some point, because the walkout lot, you've got the deck, you've got the extra doors and windows down here. You're paying extra money for it, and really to get the most value out of that, you got to have a basement finish. Kind of like this, you get the extra wet bar, the rec room, and look at all this extra patio space. Now, Jordan, we've got 1 or 2 more bedrooms down.
Yep, so we have 1 bedroom down here, and then 1 full bath, and then all the storage. So here you have your full bath. I love the tile that they did around the tub, Nick. I think that's very cool.
Oh, like a 3D tile almost.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And this bedroom, for being in the lower level, this is huge. They kind of have it set up as an office right now, but this is huge. And big walk-in closet.
So we've got 5 total bedrooms, and then you have the extra bonus office space on the main floor. Huge house.
Yep.
Let's take a look at the unfinished storage, and we'll wrap this all up.
So this home actually has 2 unfinished storage spaces. So on this side, you've got the water heater, you've got your furnace, and then, I mean, this is a huge space. You could...
It just keeps going and going and going.
All the holiday stuff, just everything.
All right, let's take a look at the other one. I'm running out of breath here, Jordan. Yeah, you could fit so much in this house. So they also finished, of course they did, they finished the under the stair storage right here as well. And then
you have all this space that actually wraps around onto the other side of that restroom. And I would say that the ranch would be the only comparable to the 1.5 as far as the amount of basement space that you could finish.
Yeah, now the footprint of this one is just much larger. So we're going to talk about that and all the prices. Now to wrap up the 1.5 stories, we've got the price ranges and then the ranking. Jordan, we searched for all of the 1.5 story homes around Kansas City. The lowest prices for them that we could find were in the upper 400s, the lower 500s, and the median price is actually one of the highest median prices on this list.
Yeah, and that's right around $800,000. And then when it comes to, custom infill 1.5 story homes like we see in Leawood, you're looking at multi-million dollars up to $4.5 million homes.
That's right. And those are homes that are being torn down. Usually they're on like an acre of land. They've got a pool in the backyard. So really the sky's the limit when it comes to some of these pricings. But the reason these can be a little bit more expensive than a ranch or a 2-story, the footprint's so much bigger. You've got those secondary bedrooms upstairs, and this one is just kind of an exception. This is a very, very, very large home. So because of that, Jordan, we're gonna rank the 1.5 story as the largest footprint. You can build some very, very large reverse 1.5s, but when it comes to just a huge home, even if you don't finish the basement, something you can expand into over time, I mean, you really can't beat something like this.
Yeah, it's the 1.5 story because you have that master on the main floor. You've got 2 or 3 bedrooms upstairs, and then you have all that space in the lower level that you can finish out. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, this one had the big media room, the extra landing or loft upstairs, but you can find a lot of these that'll have those soaring 2-story ceilings, which really have a huge impact on the livability of the house. Now, final part of the video, let us know down in the comments below, what would your favorite, your go-to type of new home to buy or build in Kansas City be? We're gonna disclose our favorites. Jordan?
I have to go with the 1.5 story. So I would love to have the master bedroom on the main floor. I can put the kids upstairs, and then possibly have high ceilings and a loft, and then get the option to finish that lower level. And I'd probably do it on a daylight lot at minimum for that future basement finish.
Got it. So that what that means is when you finish the basement, you have real light coming down there, so it's not really going to feel like a basement, as opposed to the added cost of like a walkout like this one. Okay. All right. So my favorite would be a ranch reverse, and I'll be very specific there because I would want the 3 bedrooms on the main floor, having an office on the main floor and a guest suite and the master suite there. I think that's a huge value add. I'd have to have the basement finished. I'd probably want 2 bedrooms down there, wet bar, rec room, and of course it'd have to be on a walkout lot. So with all of that said, we owe a big thank you to all of the builders: Chris George Custom Homes, Newmark Homes, J.S. Robinson Fine Homes. These were all filmed in Bristol Highlands, Lenexa, and Shawnee, Kansas. They have a lot of finished homes that are on the market available to purchase, which is not the case for a lot of communities around Kansas City. And also, we owe a big thank you to the listing agents, Heather and Danette. And of course, if you have any interest in buying or building a new home anywhere in the Kansas City suburbs, we'd love to help. This video is all about the floor plans, but keep in mind, whether you buy or build, the lots, the community, the builder, how you build it, all of that impacts your bottom line, the value you get, and the price you pay. And we'd love to make it simpler and much easier for you through every step. So feel free to give us a phone call, text message, email, and we'd love to set you up for success. With all that said, we got 2 things on the screen: playlist of all of our property tour videos, and then this one is the video YouTube thinks you'd enjoy the most. So click either there or here, and we'll see you on the other side.